I think it's funny when you add a little bit of money to a sport and you give some girls attention what they can do with it. I think everyone should take a page out of our book and really put some more time and effort into women's everything.
Welcome to Breaking the Glass Hockey Podcast. We're talking women's hockey from the PWHL to the NCAA. We'll be talking with players, builders, coaches, and fans who have made this great game what it is today. It's time to educate, empower, and elevate. Let's go!
Good Sunday morning. Welcome back to Breaking the Glass Hockey Podcast. We are here for Coffee Talk with the Beanpot. And it's your boy Brownie. I'm joined by my co-host Linda, and I'm going to step aside and let Linda introduce our two guests.
Okay, did you cut that intro off before too early?
No, I don't think so. That's just the way
we
it
missed
normally
the part.
goes.
All right, just checking on our technical acumen here. Well, yeah, very excited to be here. It is all things Beanpot all the time right now. What are we at? We are 23 days away, guys. Yeah, 22 if you count the. I know.
Don't say that.
It gives me a pit in my stomach to think that way, but pressure makes diamonds is how we like to say. So super excited to be here to talk about the Beanpot, obviously juggling like a co-host role within our and then a part of our Boston Unites group with Mary and Molly. Did some work on their intro, so I'll take some time to just tell you a little bit about who they are before we talk about our topic at hand. So Mary Ciampa, native of New Jersey. This was fun for me doing this. I took some, and if anything's incorrect, by the way, Mary, especially because it was too long to get everything.
That's what happens
I
when
got
you're
it off your
past
LinkedIn.
50.
I found a Northeastern article. I'm like, it's good to just walk it back and do this once in a while when you're so intimately involved with people sometimes on the day-to-day. Native of New Jersey, described in many bios as an iron woman, so impressive, serial entrepreneur and women's advocate, which we know all so well with Boston Unites, and one of the reasons why we're all here talking about this. She is passionate about entrepreneurship, launched her first startup at 28 years old, and over her 30 plus year career has helped national and international startups. She holds board and advisory roles, has held at Boston Museum of Science, Berklee College of Music, and eventually took her sights to tackling and advocating and helping quality education faced by women in particular. In 2018, she launched Women's X. Thank you for that. Another reason why we're here, which is a women's only online education platform to address inequalities in women's education, and particularly through the lens of sport. She's a graduate of Northeastern University, 1992. In
Go
particular,
Huskies.
yes, we're all Huskies here, so that's amazing. I think that's sort of our organic bond when it comes to our link to Northeastern. And I met Mary a couple years ago through our co-host here, Kelly Dyer Hayes, happened to serendipitously work out that the women's Beanpot was first moving to TD Garden, which we'll talk about for the final week. And Kelly said, you got to meet my friend Mary because she has learned about this, knows about the Beanpot, obviously from Northeastern, but has learned about it moving to TD Garden. And her only words were, we need to sell it out. So she said, you need to meet my friend Linda Mary. Here we are. I'm so grateful for that. And that's our goal. And that's what we are here to do. So if I had my applause button, that's what I would hit right now. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
Pivoting to Molly. Oh man, Molly, you're such a rock star. It just, I was like, God, do we really know what a rock star? Mary, you probably do, but I was like, you're a legend, Molly. Native of Ithaca, graduate of Bates College. Molly was a rower at Bates College, and last June 2025, Molly was inducted into the Bates College Athletics Hall of Fame. It was their inaugural class. She was part of the 2015 national championship team in rowing at Bates. So imagine being part of the first ever Hall of Fame class at a college. So impressive. She's just in her own right as an athlete. National champion 2015 and 2017 on the team level. Is that correct, Molly?
Correct.
Go me. I mean, I'm gonna read this because I was like, oh God, Molly, you're just captain of varsity rowing 2016-17, NCAA national champion 2015-17, as I mentioned. NCAA champion is at the varsity eights. Is that correct? Says this is your bio off your LinkedIn. 2014, 15, 16, all NESCAC first team honors 2017, NIRC all stewards team 2017, and NESCAC all academic honors, college rowing coaches association national scholar athlete 15, 16, 17.
Sounds
That's a truncated version of what I found.
right.
Molly has spent time working in various educational roles. In 2022, Bring on the Huskies joined Northeastern's Learning Disability Program, and she has now evolved into an assistant director there. So we're so grateful and jealous that she's on the Northeastern campus every day.
And we will soon, in a couple, I don't know how long, but we will be calling you Dr. Pritz for PhD.
Few years.
Yes. Molly has her master's in sports leadership from Northeastern, and it was that degree that brought her, correct me if I'm wrong, into meeting Mary through Women X and doing the Women X Fellowship, which was her first year. Again, very serendipitous situation here that we are all in, with the first year of the Women's Beanpot being at TD Garden and Molly working on the Women's X Fellowship during that time. So here we
Nice
are.
job. Good work.
Thanks.
And we have a little guy here, Jojo.
Jojo's my buddy.
Decided to come in.
Yeah, so we're here talking about the Women's Beanpot, going into its 47th year of being played, third year at TD Garden. Just to give our listeners a little background on what it is, and it's Boston bragging rights of college hockey, with Boston University, Boston College, Harvard, and Northeastern. And a couple quick facts about the tournament itself. In the 46-year history, Northeastern has 20 titles. Hit applause. Harvard has 15. I remember when it was like 17-15, 16-15, and it was like, oh my God, we gotta go. And fortunately we have. So we've made some separation there. Boston College has 8 and BU has 2, both programs who notoriously haven't been around as long as the other programs as well. Fun fact is that there's 1 year missing in there, because in 1993, BU didn't field a team. And Brown was invited to the Women's Beanpot. It was called the Beanpot Invitational. I'm kind of proud of that fun fact in the way that I played in that game, but sad to say that Brown won and the Beanpot went to Rhode Island. So I'm glad we fixed that since that time.
Technically, it was the Beanpot Invitational, so we could probably put an asterisk there.
Yeah. So that 1 year missing, Brown's got a Beanpot title. It just so happened, funny story. Also, we were at a women's conference a couple weeks ago, Mary and I, with 10,000 plus attendees, and we took the Women's Beanpot to the conference, and we had a booth there, and the very front of the Beanpot trophy, the brown plaque is right in the front, like right at the front, right underneath the inscription, right the middle tile.
We got to turn the Beanpot a little bit. So
we got to do
something.
No offense, Brown, but so yeah, we're here talking all things Beanpot, and I'll stop there.
Can I ask a question that I feel like I probably should have vetted ahead of time? At what point are both games at the TD Garden?
When we sell out. Thank you very much. Buy your ticket immediately. Go to our Instagram account, The Women's Beanpot, and go to the link in the bio, and there are ticket links for every college and the special from TD Garden. So buy your ticket, sell out. That's your answer.
And listen, I guarantee you someone gave you a Christmas gift that was better than what you got them, and you feel guilty and you need to supplement it. This is the perfect addition. You know,
Exactly.
someone went way more thoughtful than your Best Buy gift card or whatever it was. Get them a pair of tickets, or 4 or 6. Nice round numbers.
Yeah. So let's just walk it back for a minute because you just said that. Like one of the things I really want to bring forward and talk about here today, because I guess I was a little remiss in saying that, Boston Unites was formed for the Beanpot, right? Like we have all kinds of big, crazy, exploding ideas that we talk about all the time that could be more than that. But it was really formed this group. And it's not just Mary, Molly, and I. There's a group of people. There's people associated with the schools. There's former coaches, former players. There's students. There's anybody who is interested in helping us, will take their help. So um, I want to just sort of turn it over to, it doesn't matter, Mary or Molly, just to talk about, you know, what are our angles to reach people? What's working and maybe what's not? What do we need people to hear when it comes to this, besides obviously buy your tickets?
Well, I would say that, and I've been a soapbox about this, that you get kind of delusional in your social media feeds. If you're following women's sports, like, oh my gosh, every game is sold out. We've arrived. But that is not reality. If you go outside of that feed into the rest of the world, people still, the one of the things that we realized at the women's conference, which had a variety of different people, right? It wasn't a sporting event, but as the Beanpot in Boston is one of the epic sporting events and just events in Boston. So, we're sharing the story about the women's Beanpot and they don't know about it. It's still an unknown event. And so there's a lot of awareness that still needs to happen. And then there's a lot of passion and excitement to be shared to ignite people to buy tickets and show up. It's not just buying tickets, it's showing up on a freezing cold Tuesday at 4, random in January. That's hard, you know.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of work that has to go into still to get people to the event, and then once they're there, they're sold. I mean, it's a memory that you'll have for your life, and that's what we hear from everyone who's been, and that's what we hear from the athletes. So it really, if you support equity in any way, you buy your ticket and you show up, but it takes a groundswell for that to happen, and that takes people from the top and all people from grassroots efforts to fill that TD garden. I'm sure it's the same thing with that's happening across the globe to get those big numbers at women's sporting events.
The other thing that I want to kind of hop on with Mary said with the equity and all that, but it's unbelievable hockey. It is
Yeah.
top-notch, top-flight hockey, and these are future Olympians. These are future PWHL stars. You're getting to see them on the come up. You're getting to see how they perform, or in some cases not perform on a big stage. And it's a chance to go to the TD Garden and see these players before they're pros. It's an unbelievable event, and it's mind-boggling to me that people don't want to go, which I know is probably not helpful, but it's you go once, and for the hockey alone, it's worth going back.
Yeah. You great segue, Brownie. As always, we're lockstep with each other here. So I think Molly sees this the most, and Molly, maybe you could just talk a little bit about Molly. Really, is the commander of our social media center when it comes to. Mary's a close second, and I'm a very distant third. Um, so, but Molly commands our social media presence, especially on Instagram. Comes up with the countdowns, works with students. We've had some really, really great things this year. But we do see a lot of engagement with other groups, and maybe Molly, you could just talk about some of those groups so we can tag them and keep them going here with what we've seen. And the whole pathway to the pros thing is a big social media presence that we've been pushing.
Yeah, we've received nothing but encouragement and support from a lot of different channels and groups. The fleet have been wonderful in promoting and resharing, inviting us to games and allowing us to be in the concourse and talking to people and just getting, I kind of call us ambassadors of the game, because we really are standing there with the Beanpot, asking folks if they've heard about it, letting them know, how we can get them discounted tickets and everything else. So the fleet have been huge in that. There are a number of blogs, Her Puck Perspective, Women of the Northeast. They've been great. Even to Mary's point that this is a really epic event in Boston, we've had people like Let's Meet Boston and Boston B-Side who are eager to collaborate, recognizing that this is something for everyone, not just the hockey fans. Like you said, Brownie, it is incredible hockey, and I still can't really fathom that for as low as $15, you can get 2 back-to-back hockey games in TD Garden. That price per dollar is, or value per dollar is wild. But even if you are not the biggest hockey fan, even if you don't even know the rules of hockey, you're getting a night at TD Garden. You're getting to be part of something really special. And I'm seeing that from these other groups throughout Boston, and just influencers who are like, yeah, this is a great way to come together as our city, or with our city and as a city, to be a part of something really special. I studied sociology, and the collective effervescence in there at a really well-attended women's sporting event is, I got to say, really different than a Bruins game. It is a different feeling in there, and it's moving. We've all had intense emotions there. So anyway, the long and the short of that is we've had a lot of great collaborators, and I'll definitely repost and share some of them when we do, but also just a lot of people who are excited about this opportunity for our city.
Can I ask a question? Because that intro that you shared, Linda, I didn't know all this stuff about Molly. So I have a question for Molly.
Right? What are we doing here?
We're working too hard. We don't get to know about each other's life.
Exactly.
We're all business.
How did you get from rowing to hockey? How did that interest, that connection?
The river froze, and so that was that.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Ithaca, and the Cornell teams are strong here. So I would say Cornell lacrosse and hockey. That we don't have pro sports, so I really grew up, around collegiate sports. My dad was a hockey player. I am so embarrassed to even be saying this, but he likes to claim that he is a national champion because he lived in Kuwait for a few years and played over there. And as you can imagine, there's not much hockey over there. So it wasn't very hard to become a national champion there. But so just being around him and that, exposure to the game, and then coming to Northeastern, right? I think a lot of people think college sports and think college football, and that being, the main driver, but we don't have a football team. And I was just impressed right off the bat with how dominant our hockey teams were, and quickly got on board as a fan. And then you see the Northeastern players going on to the pros, you see the development of the PWHL, and it all is just, it feeds into itself. Like if you're interested in any of these teams or any, Boston sports, you're probably going to be interested in the broader women's sports landscape, women's hockey landscape.
Yeah, I have to say that Kelly got me into hockey in this passionate way, because we did a piece of artwork of her, and that's how I met her, for our art calendar, where we celebrated Title IX Trailblazers. And so we started going to games together. You want to learn about the game, go to the game with a goaltender. I mean, they know everything. She taught me so many incredible things about the sport that I was like, oh my God, I'm watching, like,
Well, from the
excellent.
view of a goaltender, we might want to reframe that a little bit and spend some more time together. But
Yeah.
we love Kelly, but goalies are goalies.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
that's
Molly,
she was
awesome.
teaching me about the threes and how they got, like, it was great to learn from someone who knows the game so well. That's what I love watching games with you, Linda. It's amazing.
Molly, one thing you said that I wanted to go back to about the Bruins game, like the difference. As someone who's been to a number of different games, be it the Bruins, men's hockey, women's hockey, all different levels. If you're listening to this and you're unsure about bringing your kids a family night, first off, a family of 6 can go for one Bruins ticket, number one. Number two, we've all been to games where, the guy next to you has had too much loudmouth soup, and you don't have to worry about that at this game. It's inviting, it's uplifting. Everybody's there for the same purpose and the same to support the same thing. And everyone, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be outliers, but 99.9% of the people there are there to have a good time, support hockey, and everyone is in. It's literally like the Christmas, like when you go shopping and everybody's like holding doors and thank you and letting you in. It's like that at the TD Garden. It's phenomenal. And I just wanted to make sure, because people get a little squirrely about bringing their kids sometimes to pro sports, and this is not that.
And it's slightly earlier than the men's game with the setup. Maybe not as late of a night, but the other piece and sort of what you said, Brownie, is that, and Mary said this originally, is like, don't wait, just get the ticket. The fact that we're feeling like when we've experienced this and we know what the product is, what the tournament means, what it's felt like for the past 2 years. We're it feels crazy in the way we're wired and the way we're talking about it, the four of us, to feel like we have to convince people, but some of that is the lack of awareness that we've really sort of, the light bulb was turned on this year and said, shoot, we aren't there yet. Like there's still a lot of people that are like, oh, like Mary said, do you know about the Beanpot? Oh, I've been to men's Beanpot games. Oh, I didn't even know the women had a tournament. Because it's been hidden away at the
Yeah.
campus sites for 43 years, right? So, y- again, it is it's about awareness, but it's about taking action and buying the tickets. Like right now, I'd say, and you guys can chime in here, one of the biggest obstacles is just getting people to pull the trigger and make the commitment. um, it's on a general admission, I should point out, for awareness, general admission basis. So you get your ticket, everybody gets the same ticket, you go in, you pick your seat, that's where you sit. What's open is open. Okay, there's definitely pros and cons to that. Right now, it keeps the ticket price down. Um, and it allows people a great opportunity to, let's add, like, go sit by the glass,
Yeah.
right? Like for $15 or $20 or whatever. But a lot of what we do and what makes us tired, I think, guys, right? Like, is feeling like we're in door-to-door sales, but we're just not there yet, right? Like we're jumping on the backs and having people jump on our backs for all the women's everything with pro sports in Boston, the Fleet, now, Legacy baseball, the CT Sun, a lot of connections that Mary have within those arenas, so to speak. But action is what makes the difference. And the biggest takeaway that I have heard and said when we've been talking about this, that I think is the most impactful, is, when do you ever get a chance to affect an event by just buying your ticket? Right? Like men's Beanpot sells out in 2 hours, right? So you're almost a dime a dozen when it comes to how you can affect that event. But when you go buy your tickets for the women's Beanpot, you're helping us reach a goal, which is to sell it out, which is the only platform that it should be for these athletes and for this event in the city of Boston. So, making a difference is, buying a ticket is making a difference.
Speaking of attendance, hold on. There you go.
We're rocking and rolling. You want to take us through this, Mary?
That is our goal. So, okay, my dog just decided to bark, but I don't know if you can hear that. So, just to give you context, the largest attendance for a women's Beanpot championship game when it was at the host colleges was 1,790. Okay, take that in, 1,790. I'm sure you could hear when people are opening their snack bags, right? That is just, where the attention was. So that is why when I heard about the women's Beanpot going to the TD Garden, I was like, oh, I know how this is going to go. No one's going to show up, not because they don't want to, but they just don't know about it. And then they're just going to say, see, it's just too small to be at TD Garden. So that's how Boston Unites came together. And we achieved an attendance of 10,633. We made a record for the largest college hockey in the New England area. Then we were at it again the following year, and we broke a record at Matthews Arena for the largest college Beanpot attendance on a campus. And then we at TD Garden reached 13,279. These other numbers are other attendance records that have been across the country. You can see Detroit PWHL takeover tour was 14,288, and Wisconsin is a huge hockey community, and their NCAA game on January 14th, 2017 was 15,359. So that had been holding for a long time until the Seattle PWHL Torrance on November 28th, 2025 hit 16,014. So our goal, if we can sell out TD Garden, which is 17,850 for hockey, we can make a national record. And that is our goal, is to put the women's Beanpot on a national stage, which it has already been, but it will really make history if we can sell out on Tuesday, January 20th.
Yeah, quick shout out to Christina Allard with the great picture there holding the trophy too. It's a great shot of her.
You know what's crazy is you said 1790 as the original attendance, and I was looking at that. I'm like, we're just kind of adding a zero on the end over there. Like that's pretty close. That's like kind of that. The other thing I want to point out that's unique about the event really quickly, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention this in an opportunity for fans, is the Beanpot Hall of Fame. And the opportunity and the opportunity that fans have to see some greats, right? So we do I'm very proud of this because we do it very unique to the women's tournament, where we try to sort of rally around all the pioneers and the Beanpot Hall of Famers from the past. Beanpot Hall of Fame for the women did not start until 2008. But we've done a pretty good job of trying to go back and grab as many, pioneers as we can and recognize the origination of the tournament and those first players. And we bring those Hall of Famers back to the TD Garden, and we honor them after the first period of the championship game. So we file them out onto the bench, and then we induct the latest this current year's inductees or that current year's inductees. So we have sort of that camaraderie, that visibility. The Garden does a tremendous job. They put everybody's name up on the rings so that the fans can see who's been in the Beanpot Hall of Fame for the women, who's down there. It's really a special moment and a special time, and there's some really great names in there. So
Linda, we would be remiss to not say that you are among them. You are speaking as if it is a them and you are not a part of it.
I was waiting to
Well,
see how
I
that
mean,
ended.
Us.
there
That
are
little
no
story.
I
don't they
can't. You
say there
can.
are no selfless acts in this world, right? Like, so I would like it to be that way, so I really work hard to do that.
Mm.
No, I just think it's unique. Again, thankful for the folks at TD Garden when we discuss this and they take on these ideas and they, sort of buy into, yes, it is unique and let's keep it that way, versus, maybe I hate to say this is what the men do and this is what the women do, because I think we just forge our own path without that comparison, because it can really stop you in your tracks. But the men have a luncheon and they do the celebration separate from the games. And I don't want to do it different. I want these guys coming back, being part of this event. I mean, those pioneers, they're envious, but they're excited and happy, and they should be celebrated for all the, blood, sweat, and time that they put into it to keep this tournament growing, and at a level that we see today. So that's just another sort of piece of our event that is at the TD Garden that is really great for fans as well.
Well, that's what I was talking about the inclusion and the accessibility, the
Yeah.
men's side. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to negative the men's side, but that separate luncheon where it's exclusive, right?
Yeah.
And it's not to the fans. Whereas the women's side, they're there. Kelly's walking around. That's Kelly Dyer
Yeah.
Hayes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, Shelley Looney walking around.
Yeah. Angela Ruggiero.
Right.
Like, I mean, there's just.
The list goes on, and that's what I'm
Mhm.
talking about the inclusivity and the accessibility and everybody lifting everybody else up. And I'm not saying it's missing in the men's, but as someone who's covered the NHL and NCAA, especially the women's, it's a whole different ball of wax.
100%.
Hey, speaking of Linda's gonna get mad at me for this. Speaking of future there, I mean, future Beanpot Hall of Famer right there, Helena Mueller. Oh, who's that? That's me with her. Oh, did
Yeah.
that out. I had to, Linda.
I sent him some graphics and he was like, I got some of my own.
Oh, yeah. I can share this one, too. Nice Christmas card there.
Listen, a couple weeks ago, Mary and I took
I saw that picture. I
had a
hadn't
Beanpot
seen
trophy
this, though.
had a Beanpot trophy takeover for about a week together.
My
doing
kids are
our-
cracking up. I had the bean pot in my house for like 3 days. They're like, "What are we doing with the bean pot?"
I was taking pictures. I was like, Mary, get a picture over here at your kitchen counter with the Beanpot. We could have done a lot more. Now that I think of it, hindsight's always 2020 there. I was like, do you want to eat some cereal out of it? This is what the players do, ice cream, cereal, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so fortunate to have that access. Thank you to Northeastern for continuing to win. Not saying the other schools wouldn't give us that, but obviously that's a very smooth process for us as Huskies to get access to that and be able to share that. And then for us, it's just all about sharing. It's just all about sharing. But now we are, what did we say, 23 days away, and it's about action.
Yeah, we'll have to share all the links and stuff when we put this out.
I do want to mention how incredible the TD Garden, Trisha, Courtney, Megan, I think it's Janet or Janice, who's the ticket woman. They are just an incredible team that really back this movement to keep the women's game at TD Garden, to bring community together, to sell it out, to expand it. They are incredible partners, TD Garden.
Yeah, and they do a great job with, giving us access to their group ticket, Alexa and Kevin and those guys, so that we can sort of direct groups to feel like they're going together. I mean, we are we're in an uptick. We'll be pounding the pavement right up until puck drop, but I know the suites went on sale and sold out like very quickly. So people are starting to say, what is interesting, and this is the sociology part, and this is like the Mary part as well, is like that whole idea of demand. Like, how do you create the environment where, oh my God, I got to get my tickets or I'm not going to get them? So the general admission is like, well, people can't see how many tickets are available, but where do we go? Where do we go in the next steps? I mean, maybe Mary, you could speak to this. If you saw the future and this event was, let's not make the comparison of selling out in 2 hours like the men, but where does that
Well, to
come in?
me, it's when I think we can say we've arrived when it's like people are going on the website or wherever to get their tickets on that day at 10 o'clock in the morning, like they did for Taylor Swift. Like they are going and saying, I got to wait here to get my ticket. That to
Yeah.
me means we've arrived.
Yeah.
And I don't expect that overnight. I think, to be realistic, but it can happen pretty quickly given the way information spreads. And I don't know. Can you tell me what 6-7 is? Like, how did that spread? It's nonsense. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the younger people. I know it's not popular now because now adults know about it, but I don't know. I learned last night 41 was, I don't know. But if these things can spread, this can sell out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think the other part about general admission is, I would love for us to get to tiered tickets, and the men just moved to 6 tiers of tickets, and that's really wonderful. It means that they're bringing in more money and they're selling, tickets behind the glass for more than at the balcony. I'm really happy for that, and I don't look past the fact that the success of the men's Beanpot also allows the women's Beanpot to have something to aspire to, but also there's a pretty good marketing budget that they're putting into the women's Beanpot, and so we do benefit from that, I think, as well. But to your point, Linda, people need to buy right now. The one benefit of general admission is the ship hasn't sailed, right? If your friends bought tickets, one friend bought 4 tickets for a small group, that doesn't mean you can't sit with them, right? Because it's GA, you can still find them the day of. It is not, I missed the chance to get tickets with my friends. I love that they can be as cheap as $15 to get people to come. I've never met someone who's come and said, not for me, I'm not coming back. I mean, my parents put this on the calendar a year ahead of time and say, we're building our schedule around this, right? After year, they're like,
Yeah.
we will be there, and they won't miss it. I don't know anyone who said, no, that I didn't really like that. So if we can get people there on these cheaper tickets, really accessible, sit with your friends, make new friends, everyone is friendly and lovely there, then when we do have that demonstrated demand, which hopefully is coming soon, but again, we know it won't be overnight, then we can really start to make money off of it for the garden in the city.
I will say from the business side of women's sports, and just in sports in general, with collegiate sports becoming more like a business, when there is a profit, it goes back to the programs. And these programs are the essence of our community here in Boston. These women's college hockey programs are feeding, as we said, the pros. And so, it's becoming increasingly more difficult to compete with the big football, colleges that have money to put into sports, and they're building hockey programs, so it's our way to also invest in our community and in our in the pro sport, because it feeds into those teams.
Well, in the team that we are, Boston Unites, you guys both said something that made me think of something. We could go on and on, right? So the other challenge and the other unique opportunity that I think is untapped that will help us in the future, and that we're really trying to move along, and I'll just send this as a shout out to any corporation, but we've got New Balance, we've got Converse, Rapid 7, we've got Reebok, we've got so many different corporations, and those are just like athletics centric apparel products, etc. We've got all the tech companies, and this whole idea of going to see a women's sporting event and this sort of experience that we've recapped over and over here. We've asked those corporations, hey, women's sports night out, right, in Boston, can you buy 100 tickets and send your group? Let's, future ideas are to, if it's general admission, to save those seats for New Balance in Loge 8 or wherever. And this is New Balance women's sports corporate night out, right? Even if the employees have to buy the tickets, again, very affordable. But these are all like, challenges that we have out there to Boston area businesses to say, like, hop on board with this. Use this as a platform and a place to bring camaraderie within your corporation, within your group, at an event outside of your office. So that's just like another, again, we have a lot of untapped resources and the sky's the limit for here. But we need those things to happen.
Something you said, all of you, that triggered me though, or not triggered me, triggered an idea. It didn't trigger me. You talk about investing in the future, investing in the community. You're also investing in the future of the game by the amount of kids that are at these games, and that it's affordable for families. It's affordable for a youth hockey team. So it doesn't have to be a youth hockey team. It could be a Girl Scout troop, a Boy Scout group. It could be a after school program that decides to get together. By having the general mission, it makes it accessible to all these kids, all these groups, that they can go in and see their for the girls, see their representation on the ice and inspire them to maybe go after that,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
exactly. All. Buy your tickets. Do it now.
As you were saying, Linda, I just pulled up the work that our students did this summer on the Women's Beanpot, and they looked at the corporations, and the corporations all have a ton of employees who went to one of the Beanpot colleges. I mean, and just one instance is Liberty Mutual has, 360 alumni from Northeastern. From Harvard, it's got 57 undergraduate and 22 business school graduates. BU, it's got 344 employees who went to BU. And for BC, it's like over 300. So these are all employees who've been to one of the Beanpot schools. They should be coming as a corporation and showing up for their alumni college.
For Liberty Mutual, that's just like a fraction of that Limu the Emu budget, so they can easily send everybody.
I think we've covered it, guys. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add, but I know that our work here is, I want to say only just begun. In the next 23 days, it will consume our worlds and our lives. So stay tuned on BTG Hockey Pod for more coverage of the Beanpot.
This is when I get yelled at by Linda all the time when I'm texting her and I'm like, where are you? And then I get like a paragraph. I'm doing this. And I'm like, sorry. This is the time of year. No, hey, listen, if you haven't been, you're a donkey and you should go, number one. Number two, this is like we've said, pound for pound, dollar value, the best women's hockey you'll see. And it's 2 games in 1 ticket. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. And what baffles me is the guys I play hockey with who are like hockey fans. And every year, there's a women's Beanpot. And I'm like, if you already have your ticket, tell 10 friends. If you're going to buy a ticket, tell 20 friends. And it's got to be like those old commercials. Molly, you're not old enough, but and they tell 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on. And that's how it has to go,
Yeah.
One thing I do want to just highlight, as someone who has not been a long, like since birth, a hockey fan, what I love about it is that it's like a clean slate for the hockey teams. These teams can have, they could have lost all their games so far, but come the Beanpot tournament, they show up. I'm like, whoa, wait, they're really good.
Yeah.
How come they've been losing? So it's like you don't know who's going to be the champion. That's what makes it so stressful for me. I'm like, oh my God, this is so stressful.
You definitely
But it's
don't
so
know. And it is the
exciting.
platform that defines oftentimes the rest of their season, coming into the most pivotal time of their season in their conferences, on the national level, everything. And, just to second that, Mary, I mean, we've had a lot of times in the years past, and I'm sure in the years future, where all four teams are in the top 10. So the games, just so our listeners also understand, are played as non-conference schedules. So these four teams have to save two non-conference games each season outside of their conference play to play these games in the non-conference play, but they count in the national rankings. If you're number one and you're playing number 10 and you lose, they all have implications on the national level. They're non-conference games for that effect. But man, there's been it doesn't really matter, like Mary said, about if somebody's having a great season or maybe, a rebuilding year. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a four-way rivalry tournament.
Yeah.
And it brings out the best in everybody.
Yeah, so
100%.
Boston University is playing Northeastern in the first round, and BC is playing Harvard, so that should be intense.
And that's at Walter Brown Arena.
Yeah, Walter Brown.
The
Tuesday the
initial week.
13th.
Yep.
And actually,
So-
wasn't BU Northeastern last year's championship, right?
Yes.
The past 2 years.
The best 2 years, that's right.
And if you saw them at Matthews Arena, it was intense. It was an intense game this past season. So it'll be exciting.
All right. Well, that's it. I think we've all given our endorsements. We just need people to get their fannies in the seats and to see it for yourself. Go meet Molly's dad, national champion that he is. Hey, as someone who won a beer league championship, I am on board with your dad's championship. We will share that if I meet him at the game. But the January 13th at Walter Brown, January 20th at TD Garden. Buy your tickets. Get the family, get your friends, neighbors, communities, churches, synagogues, mosques, whatever. Go to the game. That's all I got.
See you there.
You won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed.
Well,
Help
thanks
us make
for listening.
history.
Yes, that's right. And thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.